Hey guys, Tiffany with another video, and as you guys saw in the title, this is going to be another one of my hauled it but how was it videos. Now I'm gonna warn you, this video may be a little fast just because I'm seriously hungry, like I'm real hungry. And also my battery is about to die and the sun is going down and I'm not gonna have time to recharge it and refilm, so we got to get through this. So no more talking, let's get started. So the first item that I want to show you guys is a foundation. This is the Iman Luxury Concealing Foundation. Now I've talked about this foundation a lot on my channel, but recently I've had a lot of you guys ask me about this, especially when I've shown it on Snapchat. So I figured I would throw it into this haul it but how was it video. Now Iman cosmetics period are a little pricey. Like, to me, they are more of the luxury drugstore brand. So this foundation does come with a little bit of a price tag on it to be drugstore. Like, that's the first and foremost thing. That's the thing a lot of people say, like, oh my gosh, it's a little expensive. It really is, but I've always known Iman Cosmetics to be more of the higher end on the drugstore spectrum. But once you get past that, I love this foundation. It's the foundation that I'm wearing today, and does it not look like I'm wearing some type of full coverage high-end foundation? To me, if I want to use something that is comparable to the full coverage higher end foundation, which the only one I have really is the Estee Lauder. Estee Lauder is my go-to full coverage foundation. This to me is like the drugstore version of the Estee Lauder foundation. I promise you, it gives amazing coverage. The finish of it is flawless. The downside is that if you are of lighter skin tones, you are not going to be able to find a shade that fits you, but that is just because Iman Cosmetics caters more to medium to deep skin tones. I do own quite a few drugstore foundations, but if I want something that I know again is going to give me that more of a full coverage type of finish, full coverage flawless type of airbrush finish, this is the foundation that I reach for. I have had this for quite a while. I use this pretty much like all during the springtime. I kid you not. If you guys remember, like, I was using this foundation like crazy, and I still have so much. Like, to be such a small amount, you only get 0.5 fluid ounces. You really don't need that much to get a really amazing finish. So I think that's one of the reasons why it lasts so long. Like, one pump will seriously give you a really great coverage. Unless you have real problematic areas, then you may want to use a little bit more than one pump, but one pump for me does it every time. I love the finish. I love how it comes out. This foundation is amazing. So next up is the eyeshadow palette, and it's very rare for me to recently get an eyeshadow palette and be ready to rave about it so quickly, but y'all, I have definitely fallen in love with this palette. This is the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette. It's no stranger here on YouTube recently because everybody and their mama have been talking about it. But here is how the packaging looks. I was going to do a dedicated video on this, but then I felt like it's just so many videos out there. Mine would probably be repetitive, so I figured instead I would do a get ready with me and then also just kind of bring it to you guys in my haul it but how was it videos. It is the eyeshadow palette that I used on my eyes today, and I actually did a get ready with me on this look. So if it's not posted already, which I think it should already be up, it'll definitely be up after this video. But again, here is how the packaging looks, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. And then on the inside, let me get a box so I don't blind you. That is how it looks on the inside. Now, personally, I'm a fan of Urban Decay eyeshadow, so I really didn't think that this was going to be a bad palette to begin with, but the reviews, the swatches, like in the beginning, it really had me on the fence. I was like, wait a minute, these swatches are not adding up to how I know Urban Decay shadows to be. And then there were some well, a lot of women of color were saying that, oh, they didn't think that this palette was really worth it and it wasn't as pigmented as you would think it would be. But I am so glad that I decided to pick this palette up and try it out myself, because I have been so in love. If you want to do like a sultry type of look, this palette can give you that. If you want to do like a smoky type of look, this palette can give you that. If you don't want to do like over the top and you just want some mattes that are kind of going to just warm your eye up, this is the palette that can give you that. Now, of course, I know y'all like, come on, Tiff, those are your type of shades anyway, so of course you were gonna say that. And yes, I do love colors like this. I'm definitely not gonna apologize for it, but even beyond that, this palette is amazing. The colors, again, just give you that really nice warmth to the eye. These are warm colors, so if you're not someone who likes warm colors, if you like more of the cool type of colors, if you like more pops of colors, obviously this is not going to be the palette for you. But if you were looking again for that palette to give you just some really nice warm colors that you could use within itself, like this is the palette that you don't need to incorporate anything, but you can also incorporate these shades with other palettes, because I've been doing that as well. And again, I've just been loving it. I'm going to give you guys a couple of swatches. This is one of the metallic type of shimmer shades right there. And of course, I'm swatching this with like no primer or anything, so just imagine if you added a base to it. Oh my goodness, let me swatch one of the deeper matte shades so you guys can see. Again, look, like I'm not using any primer or anything. And then I'll even swatch one of the lighter, actually the lightest shade in the palette, so you guys can see that one as well. Don't be fooled by those bad swatches on Instagram, y'all. This palette is everything and more. They're buttery. Urban Decay eyeshadows just never disappoint for me. And again, this one, it's amazing. Y'all know one thing about it, I'm gonna come to you and give it to you raw. Like if it was crap, I have no problem, like nah, this was crap. But this is just a really, really great palette. I'm glad I picked it up. I do believe it's a limited edition palette. I don't know for sure, but I believe it is. So if you want to get your hands on it, get your hands on it. And if you don't like it, the great thing about Sephora, Ulta, is that you can actually take it back. So you're not really missing out on your money if you feel like it didn't, you know, add up to the hype of what I'm telling you. But I promise you, I love it. Next item that I want to talk about is a powder that I recently picked up. This is the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. That is what it looks like right there. Did I talk about this? I don't think I talked about this in one of my Haul It But How Was It videos, but if I did, I apologize. But I've had a lot of you guys comment on the first impression video that I did, asking me to come back and give you like my final thoughts on it. I picked mine up in the shade medium deep. They did come out with, I want to say, about 8 different shades that you can choose from, so I really do like that Maybelline was able to give us options, especially those of us with some pigmentation to our skin. I really like this powder. Now, to be a drugstore powder, I honestly was not expecting much, but it definitely did not disappoint. The way that I used it is how I would use certain loose finishing powders, and that's mainly to set underneath my eye. But I also recently have been using this to set my face after I primed it, and this just works really, really well. Now, as far as using it to just set my face, again, after I primed it, I do think that it allows my foundation to last a bit longer. But then when it comes to setting my under eye, it's not the most long lasting, I will tell you that. Like if you are looking for something that's going to last you about 12 hours or so without creasing, like this is definitely not the powder. I would just stick with my DermaBlend Warm Saffron powder, but I think it gives you a really nice 8 hours of wear without it starting to like crease up underneath the eye. And I'm someone with combination oily skin, and I do tend to start get creasing underneath the eye like around 8 or 9 hours. The only powder that has not done that is the DermaBlend. I've even had that happen with the Laura Mercier powder, but with the DermaBlend, that powder is just flawless. So I do feel like you could get a really nice 8 hours or so of wear out of this. But if you're looking for something that's going to last you longer, you definitely would have to touch up. Like this is not the most long lasting powder. But to be a drugstore powder, again, I was really surprised at the outcome of it. I think it works really well. I think this is a nice, affordable powder that you can use to either set your face if that's what you want to use it for, because again, they do have deeper shades than this. But if you also just want something where you can just highlight underneath your eyes, set your under eye makeup, I think this does a really good job as well. So I'm definitely not disappointed, and I'm happy that Maybelline decided to give us cheaper alternatives to like the Laura Mercier powder, the Cover FX powders, the DermaBlend powders and things like that. So I do really like it, and I would say that this is something that you want to pick up if you are looking for a cheaper alternative. The next item that I'm going to talk about comes from ColourPop. This is the ColourPop Gimme More Press Powder Highlighter Palette. That's what it looks like. It says that I like your face on the front, but the palette is actually called the Gimme More palette. This is one of their limited edition palettes. They have recently restocked it. I think I put it on my Snapchat when they restocked it. I don't know if they're going to restock it again. You know, you hear rumors like, oh yeah, they're going to bring it back, and it's just one of those things you got to kind of wait and see for them to give the announcement. But it does come with 6 different shades on the inside. If you guys remember from the haul video, when mine came, it was a little banged up, so I did have to end up kind of like pressing the highlighters back into the palette. But I did end up using this palette today, and I've been using it here or there, just kind of trying to test it out. I do have to say I actually like this palette. I think the colors are really nice. I love that they give you such a different array of colors. I do kind of feel like this palette is kind of geared more towards deeper skin tones, because especially like these 4 colors right here, I feel like these work so well on deeper skin tones. But of course they do have these 2 lighter shades, and it's not to say that everybody cannot benefit from this palette. You like your highlighter however you like your highlighter. Some people like deeper highlighters, but because I am again a melanin sister, I do like the fact that these colors right here especially are colors that can work on deeper skin tones without coming looking like too ashy or anything like that. So I'll just go ahead and swatch some of the shades so you guys can get a feel for it. I'll actually swatch that lighter shade as well, just so you guys can see it. So those are some of the shades swatched. One thing I will say though, I do feel like you can't just like put your brush in and then apply your highlighter and get the best highlight. I do feel like you got to kind of swirl your brush in there, get some of it on your brush and then apply it, and that's how you get the best highlight. I don't feel like it accentuates my pores or accentuates any of the texture on my skin. I feel like you just get a really nice highlight, something that you can definitely wear every day. But if you again wanted to jazz it up, they do have like these orangey and peachy shades in there, but I think it's nice for the price. I think it was what, about $18 or $16 or something like that. I just think you get a really nice variety for the price. It's definitely something that you can't beat if you're able to get your hands on it. I think Sephora has a palette that is comparable to this. I think it might be a little bit more. I'm not for sure. Every time I try to go in Sephora and pick it up, they're always out of stock. But if I can one day get my hands on it, I definitely would do a comparison just in case they don't bring this back. But again, for the price, I think it's really nice. You get 6 really nice highlighters and you can't beat that, so it was a good pickup. And then the final item that I want to talk to you guys about is a brush. This is the Kat Von D highlighter brush. This is the number 25 brush. I don't know the correct name of it, but for me it's definitely like an under eye highlighting brush, but it is the Kat Von D number 25 brush. Kat Von D came out with these brushes around the same time she came out with those new concealers and then the new setting powder, which I didn't pick up the setting powder, but I do really love the concealers. So I decided to pick this up because I'm always looking for a good brush to use. Again, the loose powder underneath to set my under eye. This brush is A1 amazing. I love this brush so much. It just does a really good job at like packing the powder underneath your eye, but then kind of blending it out as well. Like, I feel like I always get the precise application of setting powder underneath my eye whenever I use this. I really wish I had picked up 2 because I hate when this gets super dirty and then I have to wash it and wait for it to dry. Like, I have another Kat Von D brush that was a limited edition brush and it's really good. I don't think this is limited edition because I've seen it like every time I go in Sephora in the Kat Von D section, but this is just a really nice brush. Again, it just applies the under eye powder and it just gets to like every location of your under eye that you need the powder, and I think that's one of the reasons why I really love it. It kind of comes to like a point. I don't know if you guys are going to be able to see, but it comes to a point where again I just feel like if you just lay it underneath your eye, it just does the best job at getting the powder exactly where it's supposed to go. So how can you complain about a brush that does exactly what it's supposed to do? Again, I really love it. I'm glad I picked it up, and I wanted to make sure to kind of let you guys know how I felt about this brush, because as much as I love it, I don't think I talk about it that much. So just so you guys know, or if you've been looking for a really good like under eye setting powder type of brush, this is one. You're gonna pay a little penny, okay? It may be a little bit more than what you're used to paying for brushes, but it's worth it, and it does an amazing job. So I love it. And that is it for this edition of Hauled It, but how was it? And I actually loved everything that I had to show you guys. I don't think that's happened yet since I've started Hauled It, but how was it? But I actually really like all of the products that I had to show you, so that's a really good thing. I mean, who wants to buy products and then not end up liking them? But y'all already know if I do buy something and it sucks, I'm definitely gonna come and tell you. But for this edition, everything was A++ in my book. Let me know what you guys think of the products. Let me know if you've already picked these up. Do you like it, dislike it, all that other good stuff? And let me know if there is anything that you've still been waiting for me to show in these videos that I have not got around to yet, so I'll know to put it more towards the top of my list, because I have a lot of products. Like, I don't feel like I'll ever run out of things to show you guys for this series, so that's kind of a good thing. But until next time, bye YouTube. I'm about to go eat because my stomach is growling.